This episode is brought to you by Nordstrom. Summer's almost out and fall's calling. Luckily, Nordstrom has everything you need for the season ahead, all under $100. Discover new arrivals from your favorite brands like Mango, Princess Polly, Wave, Free People, BDG, and more. Whether you're planning a last-minute getaway, heading back to class, or refreshing your office looks, you'll find the latest trends and beauty must-haves without breaking your budget. It's easy, too, with free shipping, free returns, and in-store order pickup. Shop today, in stores, and at Nordstrom.com.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Between two-factor authentication, strong passwords, and a VPN, you try to be in control of how your info is protected. But many other places also have it, and they might not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast for 40% off. Terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Prime. From streaming to shopping, Prime helps you get more out of your passions. So whether you're a fan of true crime or prefer a nail-biting novel from time to time, with services like Prime Video, Amazon Music, and fast free delivery, Prime makes it easy to get more out of whatever you're into or getting into. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to learn more.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Hey there, we're Book Talk for Book Talk with Jack and Amy, your book besties who take the novels you love seriously.
This is Jack.
And I'm Amy.
We embrace and respect modern fantasy, romance, and romantasy books written by women. And so it is in our nature to analyze these books as we would any other novel we might have dissected in school.
With our combined 13 years of literary academic training, we use our education to analyze and give voice to reasons you may love or hate today's popular books.
This is part 2 of this week's episode, where we're discussing chapters 44 through 48 of Sarah J. Maas's second Throne of Glass novel, Crown of Midnight.
Before we dive in, don't forget SPILT. Spoilers, perspective and interpretation, language, and themes.
If you'd like more information, please go back and listen to the start of part 1 of this week's episode. All right, let's continue. Celaena spirals because she doesn't know what to do, even if she got the Wyrdkey, or how to even look for them. Quote, "Because the world didn't need an assassin with a coward's heart. It needed someone like Nehemia." I hate that this is how Celaena views herself, as a coward, because she's going to be carrying that deep into Heir of Fire and maybe even beyond. And you could argue that it was an unspoken insecurity that Celaena had going into it, probably capitalizing on her childhood trauma, her parents being murdered in the bed she was in. But would Celaena even view herself as a coward if Nehemia hadn't been the one to say that, if those weren't her last words?
It's an excellent question. I don't know. I don't think so. And I'm going to ask a similar rhetorical question, because Celaena thinks at one point, quote, "Nehemia, you had to have known about the Wyrdkeys. You must have had a plan, but what were you going to do?" Is Celaena giving Nehemia too much credit? She goes further, quote, "If the gods had bothered to listen, Celaena would have traded her life for Nehemia's." Celaena is putting Nehemia on this freaking pedestal, which is why Nehemia calling Celaena a coward sticks with Celaena so much. Now, the problem for me is that when Nehemia is revealed to be the liar that she is, she falls off that high pedestal that Celaena has put her on. Mm-hmm. But instead of Celaena being like, you know what, I feel better about myself, she's like, wow, Nehemia's not on the pedestal, so I must be below ground. I must be in the subflooring.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, you know what, Nehemia was not perfect. No. It's just tragic, actually.
It is very tragic. I'm trying to remember, does Nehemia gets told to kill herself after their argument?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I just feel like what sucks is that Nehemia knew that she was going to die, and she let their last words be that because she knew it would mess her friend up more.
Yep. That's why we don't like Nehemia.
Yeah.
And the way Esham wrote her.
Dorian then has a dream about Gavin, and we realize that Gavin's kind of a dick. It also gives me Parent Trap, a la Lindsay Lohan. Just the one person, one gets one parent, the other one gets the other parent.
Yeah, fair.
Gavin and Elena. Quote, the similarities end there. Oh, and so Dorian's describing how Gavin looks, and they have the similar hair. Quote,
similar eyes.
Oh, they have similar eyes. Quote, the similarities ended there. The man had shoulder-length, dark brown hair, an angular, almost cruel face. And I didn't even go through and quote every single time that that Gavin's kind of a dick, but there's descriptions that he's used to not being questioned. He's used to giving orders. He's very abrasive. And I'm just like, you're kind of a dick, especially when you compare him to Elena, who is much nicer when coercing young women to do her needs.
I was going to say, Elena is also a dick, a manipulative dick. At least Gavin tells you what he wants.
Yeah, that's fair. You're going to just be that way. At least like say it to my face. Don't come for me on the stairs crying just to orchestrate the whole thing.
Yep.
You know what? Angry sip. Ooh, I have an idea.
Yeah.
For the next episode, we're going to play a drinking game of hydration and water, guys. Every time we complain about Nehemia, we take a sip.
Oh, that's so funny.
Actually, from here on out.
Okay. We're going to have to pee real fast.
Yeah, anytime our notes complain about Nehemia. Chapter 47 starts. Celaena decides that she wants to talk to Nehemia. Quote, Celaena kept her hand steady as she dipped her finger again into her blood and traced the word mark on the wall, copying the symbols in the book with perfect precision. Out of all the people that she's lost, we're talking Sam, we're talking her parents, we're talking about a long list of people. The one person that she decides to summon is Nehemia. Now, and yes, Nehemia might have the answers that she needs, wordmark adjacent, there's things there, but it ends up not really being about that. But before I go into what I think it's about, I do want to highlight real fast that there's a good mirroring moment where Celaena's using her blood for the word marks here versus at the beginning of the episode when she was using it for protection. So, because I feel like she could have used chalk. I'm just pointing that out.
I mean, I think they allude to the fact that you have to use the blood of someone who has magic.
Yeah, all right. But I took that as the blood of someone who has magic to actually do the incantation versus actually using their blood. But because doesn't she use chalk at one point to do a word mark?
I don't remember.
Yeah, either way, it's a nice mirroring moment, if not gross. For now to go into the noble / non-noble reasons. And I don't think that Celaena summoning Nehemia is necessarily for the good reasons that I listed, right? Hey, she knows more about word marks. She can give me some insight. And the reason why I say that is because while Celaena is trying to summon Nehemia, she remembers those words again, quote, you are nothing more than a coward. And for her, speaking to Nehemia is more about an apology than it is about information. And it's not even about redemption. Like, it's not even about, I hope I get forgiveness. It's truly, I want to apologize. Because the first thing that Celaena says before she even fully sees Nehemia, she kind of sees her walking in and she just apologizes. I'm sorry. And then she says it again. The next, she says, I'm sorry 3 times before she says anything else. And even dead, Nehemia is a bitch. Everyone take a sip. Because Nehemia cuts off Celaena, telling her that she shouldn't have opened the portal. Although personally, I think that if you talk fast enough, you can get it all out. It's still about abusing Celaena's broken heart and ignorance and guilting her into all of it. But I could talk real fast. I could give you a whole explanation of, Amy, here's what you got to do with the word marks. There's a lot of things you're going to have to keep in mind of. Yes, there's 3, but you can get rid of the other ones this way. Look at that. I could save your life in 30 seconds.
Since the beginning, Nehemia has been gaslighting Celaena.
Yeah.
So, of course, she's going to continue to gaslight Celaena. Quote, I thought you were smarter than this. Celaena looked up. The light radiating off the princess didn't reach through the glowing portal, as if there truly were some sort of line, some final boundary. Now, the use of light. Let's talk about this. Maybe it's supposed to delineate the dead from the living, right?
Yeah.
She's on one side of the veil, Celaena's on the other side. However, I also think it's symbolic of Nehemia's withholding everything from Celaena, withholding truth, withholding affection, withholding kindness.
Yeah.
Nehemia has no empathy for Celaena.
No, the first thing she tells her friend was, I thought you were smarter than this.
Instead of being like, don't worry, I'm at peace now. Like, that's not hard to say. She says so much more after this.
Like, and she's going to give her a nice, I'm not even going to say nice, but a little final hurrah. But this was just so not the way. And I think that it does, regardless of what Nehemia's little speech is going to be, I do think that this shows not resistance. What word am I thinking?
Resentment.
Resentment. Thank you. Resentment to Celaena. As Nehemia is about to leave, she says goodbye to the dog. Quote, Fleetfoot pawed at the floor. Goodbye, my dear friend, Nehemia said to the dog and began walking into the blackness. She was about to let her go. She was going to walk in and say, Ho, I thought you were smarter than this. Look at her dog and say, my dear friend, and then leave her. What the fuck is that? And yes, she's about to say something to Celaena. And yes, it's probably hard. I'll give Nehemia this. It's probably hard for her too, to say her final goodbyes to her friend. It's probably a moment of emotions that it's overwhelming for her to process. I would believe that more if I saw more of that from her. Mm-hmm. And again, you think you'd want to tell a loved one immediately how much you love them and forgive them, you know? So Nehemia, to her itty bitty small tiny credit, tells Celaena that she made her choice and that she ran towards her fate. My note, fate being an old dead white woman telling her to die. Then we get some emotion. Quote, but no matter what I did, Alentia, I want you to know that in the darkness of the past 10 years, you were one of the brightest lights for me. Do not let that light go out. Great last words. Slight redemption. Wished I believed that she meant it.
I was going to say, this is just SJM using Nehemia like she always does, which is delivering some cool lines.
Yes.
With nothing to back it up.
There is no character development that got us to this point.
Nope. And I don't believe Nehemia saw Celaena as a bright light.
No.
I think she was just like, fuck you, bitch. Yeah. That should have been me.
Yes.
The only thing about this that's important is that the fact that Celaena has a light inside her and Nehemia tells her to not let it go out. It's a very important image and theme that's going to follow Celaena into Heir of Fire.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why it's there. It's not because Nehemia actually believes it.
And then you can argue that Nehemia is literally just saying it to leave another clue for her to be like, hey, maybe you go towards your fairness. Maybe you know, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine.
Get your magic back.
Yeah, like maybe that. So it's like, even then, it's still not without some kind of ulterior motive.
Yep. I feel like I've seen theories online that this is not the real Nehemia.
Oh. Elena again, just coming in and screwing with everyone.
However, if you are questioning whether this is the real Nehemia, let's remember that Fleetfoot never comes down to the secret passages, never comes to the tomb. Fleetfoot only comes here because of her love for Nehemia, which is supposed to be an indicator that this is the real spirit of Nehemia. But you know what? Fuck you.
Oh, take a sip. We are now in chapter 48. Archer comes into the space and we are all shooketh because we discover that he has been tracking Celaena for weeks. What? Uno reverse. Everyone is stalking Celaena. Maybe she's not that great because he's stalking her. The monster stalking her. Nehemia to a point was stalking her. But the fact that Archer was stalking Celaena and the fact that he was assisted by Nehemia must hurt her pride, not just because it was like, wow, my friend betrayed me, but also she was outsmarted by someone who is in sex work, who Celaena had repeatedly thought, not that she was better than him, but, you know, she's an assassin. She learned these tools of the trade. He had a different set of tools.
Yeah.
And she was outsmarted by him.
Mm-hmm.
Celaena tries to get him to do the whole, I'm an evil villain, and I'm going to give you a whole speech about me being evil. Quote, other people can't even begin to fathom the things we were forced to do. I think that's why I was so infatuated with you when I was a girl. I like to imagine she said it like that. She kind of like put her boobs out, be like, I was a girl and so infatuated by you. And then, you know, start singing, happy birthday, Mr. President, and lays down on a piano. That's not what you imagine? All right. So Amy's okay. Are you okay? You're laughing a lot harder than that joke deserved.
No, I'm shocked.
You're like, I never fall for their stupid shit. 15 years and you still fall for it, sucker.
I need a sip.
Okay, we all sip now. I do love that she kind of uses a little bit of seduction here, a little, I'm just a silly, ignorant girl, because I don't pull in all the moments of these quotes, but there's another moment where she goes like, you and I, we could get out of here type thing. Like she's very much implying that she's attracted to him. And I'm on board. It's a YA book, so it has to go pacing quickly. If SJM were to rewrite this, I would like to imagine that she would almost even have Celaena kiss him. And then stab him while she does it, you know, like really kind of lay into this attraction thing. Cause it does, I feel like Celaena does go from what you to I'm going to pretend like I'm confused and now I believe it. I don't fault SJM as a bad writing. I think this is just a product of a YA book and you got to keep that pace going.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Nothing like shared trauma and attraction to get someone to believe you.
Good use of the feminine manipulation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, Archer admits his master plan and the fact that getting hit by an arrow was intentional so that he could earn Celaena's trust. Quote, and when I took that arrow for you, I knew you'd trust me, if only for that night. I apologize if my methods were harsh. Trick of the trade, I'm afraid. I read this as Archer appealing to her feminine, quote unquote, feminine trait of empathy, right? Tricking her into trusting him. The irony is that he can't sense that she's using her quote unquote feminine manipulation to get this information out of him. His ego is too inflamed. His masculinity is too toxic for him to realize that she's tricking him.
When I read, he was like, trick of the trade, I'm afraid. 1, it rhymes. Love it. 2, what fucking trade is that? Like, what? I don't, I'm not pretending I know every sex kink there is out there, but I haven't heard of the one where you get an arrow to your shoulder. Trick of the trade. That good old fashioned one where someone stabs you to save them. I'm sure it means manipulation. I'm sure it means using your emotions against you.
Yeah, you do what you got to do.
I just don't know where that lesson would be.
Yeah.
In the trade lessons. Celaena realizes that Archer's plan goes much deeper than just getting her to join his cause. Quote, trust him, lose Nehemia, and lose Kale. He'd isolated her from her friends. The same thing she'd suspected Roland had wanted to do with Dorian. And the same thing that Elena is doing to you. Everyone is just manipulating her. But it's that mirroring again between Dorian and Celaena that I do want to highlight here, where Roland is trying to manipulate Dorian, but Celaena never thought of who was trying to manipulate her. And again, who's trying to manipulate her? Archer, Nehemia, Elena.
Yep.
And while I am angry at Chaol, and he is a product of the patriarchy,
he did not necessarily try to manipulate her.
Not in the initial parts of this book when he just wanted to touch her because she was pretty, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So that is unfortunate. And it's unfortunate that that she just didn't catch that from anyone. Archer signs his death warrant at this moment. Quote, Archer bowed his head. Because I know what you are, Celaena, Arobynn told me one night after you went to Endovir. She shoved the twinge of genuine pain and betrayal down until it couldn't distract her. Yes, he helped kill Nehemia. Yes, he got her to break up with Chaol. I think she still would have potentially, I'm not saying that she would kill, maybe she would kill him, but I think that the absolute he needs to die moment was with this. And I also get confused with this, what you are, not who you are. So maybe he doesn't know that she's the queen of Terrasen, essentially, but just that she's Fae. But it could all be, either way, he was fucked at that moment.
Right. Whether he knows her real name or her real heritage, that being Fae, either way, that's a risk, and she's willing to kill for that. We're going to talk later about whether or not this reveal was earned.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to talk about it here. But I do want to talk about Archer using his charm, his courtesan charm, to kind of woo Celaena onto his side. Quote, and for our cause to succeed, we need you. I need you. He took a step toward her. But you, gods, from the moment I saw you outside the willows, I've known how good we'd be together. The things we'll accomplish. He's trying to charm her right now, just like she was trying to charm him. Luckily for us, we know that Celaena has become immune to Archer's charm. Unfortunately, Archer doesn't realize it.
Okay. I was just thinking, that you were saying that he's a courtesan. He knows how to charm. That's just what he's really good at. I don't know if that would work on us. Mainly, I'd imagine, a man, no. But if a woman was charming to you, maybe. I think because women aren't creepy when they're charming. But if a man tried to charm me, I would shut down and not know what to do. And I'd just be like, you're too pretty. I'm tapping out. I can't handle this.
Anytime someone is that forward, I don't believe them at all. Doesn't matter what their gender is.
I think it was in her interview with Megan Quinn, I said something like, that's why love bombing won't work on me. And then I think I'm going to add that to both of us. That's why love bombing could never work with us.
That's right.
We just would be like, no, I don't believe you.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of people online saying love bombing works for them because they agree, yeah, everyone should love me right away. Versus us, we're like, well, something's broken here.
Nope. You're lying to me.
We have issues. Dorian at this point goes to Chaol after his dream. And I do love that he goes to Chaol knowing that he's not strong enough to take care of this. And again, that must be a huge blow to his pride. And it's just one of those moments where you can tell that it really does matter to save Celaena, because this is not great. Because as they near the hidden passage, Chaol doesn't want Dorian anywhere near this passage for good reason. He's the prince. Quote, if he'd had time, he would have locked Dorian in the closet rather than risk bringing the crown prince into danger. But these two sides of Chaol are now going to war, right? There's a side that's like, he needs to lock Dorian rather than risk the crown prince, right? So we have the title going on here. But he also needs to save Celaena. So we have this moment of true decision making. Who does he risk? And he ends up risking Dorian in order to save Celaena.
Yep. He still has feelings for her.
And if the Fae thing Didn't happen. I really believe these two crazy kids would have worked it out. I don't think that they would have won in the long run because, you know, the whole fae of it all.
Yeah.
But I think they would have given another whirl just to break up again. But.
Yeah, I agree.
Which of us haven't done that? I haven't.
I haven't.
Wow. Gone to sleep with an ex?
No. I don't have an ex.
I'm just happy. Once I broke up with someone, I've never gone back to sleep with an ex. Look, I just got to get whatever wins I can at this point.
I'm proud of you.
Aren't we all surprised? Everyone, let's applaud me and take a sip.
Plot twist, it's an ad break, but we promise it is still canon.
I got my mom on TaskRabbit, and now that she knows that people can come and clean her house, she is obsessed with this.
I got my mom TaskRabbit because the last thing I want to do is go to Arizona in the middle of the summer just to do her electrical work.
You would do that.
TaskRabbit is the secret weapon for every child whose parents need someone to do something for them.
Amen to that.
I have my own life.
I have my own tasks that I need my TaskRabbit to do. I can't help you with your TaskRabbit.
TaskRabbit connects you with skilled taskers to help with moving, mounting, furniture assembly, home repairs, electrical work, and more. Many taskers are available to help the very same day. Why wait for you or me or your child to do it when a tasker can do it instead?
Taskers have assembled over 3.4 million pieces of furniture, done 700,000 home repairs, completed 1.5 million moves, and more.
To get started, go to TaskRabbit.com or download the app. Search for the best tasker for your job based on cost, skill set, availability, and past client reviews.
Plus, with TaskRabbit's happiness pledge, if you're not satisfied, they'll work to make it right.
Our moms have been happy. Yours could be too.
Tackle your to-do list today and get $15 off your first task at TaskRabbit.com or on the TaskRabbit app using promo code BookTalk.
That's promo code BookTalk, BookTalk, at TaskRabbit.com for $15 off your task. TaskRabbit, book trusted help for home tasks. This show is sponsored by Liquid IV.
I'll give you one guess into what's my Stanley right now.
Probably something with electrolytes, like Liquid IV.
It's not even funny how true that is. Liquid IV is scientifically formulated to help replenish electrolytes and fluids lost from sweat or exercise, which is perfect because I am both sweating and exercising this summer.
It has 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients, all in a single stick. And guess what? They've got Orange Vanilla Dream Hydration right now. It is so nostalgic. Makes me think of summer instantly.
The fact that it has 100% daily value of 4 essential B vitamins, B3, B5, B6, B12, it's an excellent source of vitamin C, and it makes me just feel like I've really accomplished a lot just by drinking one of these.
Powered by Liquid IV Hydroscience, Liquid IV replaces necessary nutrients lost from everyday dehydration, and it doesn't matter if you live somewhere dry or humid, trust me, you're dehydrated.
Just 1 stick and 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone.
It is always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. And if you're like me and are sensitive to everything, it is fantastic.
Savor the last bits of summer with Liquid IV. Tear, pour, live more. Go to liquidiv.com and get 20% off your first order with code BookTalk at checkout.
That's 20% off your first order and code BookTalk, BookTalk, at liquidiv.com. Growing up, my parents were obsessive about the chore charts and the stickers that we got to use to track our chores and what each completed chore was worth in money.
And now with Acorns Early, you can apply that to today's kids with modern technology. It's genius. Acorns Early is a smart debit card and money app that grows kids' money skills as they grow up.
Start with the in-app chores tracker and teach your kids the value of $1.
Then let your kids set up their own savings goals, start building healthy money habits early.
Make them work for that PS5.
Absolutely.
Kids can spend what they've earned with their own customizable debit card. giving them the extra sense of independence.
Plus, with Acorns Early, spending limits, and real-time spending notifications, parents always stay in control.
This is definitely something I would use if I had kids, because I love nothing more than teaching hard work for reward.
This is what's going to happen when I have kids. You're going to be teaching my kids with Acorns Early.
That's exactly right.
Ready to teach your kids the smart way to earn, save, and spend? Get your first month on us when you head to acornsearly.com/booktalk or download the Acorns Early app.
That's 1 month free when you sign up at acornsearly.com/booktalk. BOOKTALK.
Acorns Early Card is issued by Community Federal Savings Bank, member FDIC, pursuant to license by MasterCard International. Free trial for new subscribers only. Subscription fee starting from $5 per month unless canceled. Terms apply at acorns.com/early terms.
Hellmann's believes they can turn any mayo hater into a lover. So, if you know someone who thinks mayo equals bland, show their taste buds the truth and challenge them to try Hellmann's flavored mayo. With irresistible flavors like Hellmann's spicy mayo, garlic aioli, chipotle, and Italian herb, they'll be eating their words. Challenge haters to try Hellmann's flavored mayo and get them to eat their words. Learn more at hellmanns.com/eatyourwords.
All right, it is time for breadcrumbs and broomsticks. In chapter 44, when Dorian and Celaena are talking after they've killed the monster in the library's catacombs, Celaena thinks about how, quote, both Celaena and Nehemia had mentioned wings. Wings in their dreams, wings flapping through the Farian Gap. What was the king brewing there? Actually, he's breeding something, aka wyvern, which is all set up for Airfire.
Also in chapter 44, when Dorian talks about the lack of magic users in his bloodline, Celaena thinks, quote, there were so many things that she could tell him, but if she did, it would just result in too many questions. So Celaena merely studied the pages he displayed for her. More lineage breadcrumbs, maybe things that, in hindsight, he would have wanted to know.
Yeah. In chapter 46, while Celaena is talking to Mort about how the king of Otterlin has the Wyrdkey that used to be in Elena's tomb, Celaena thinks about, quote, why hadn't he, the king, taken Damaris, one of the greatest heirlooms of his house? Maybe because he's not himself.
Yeah. Right? What? In chapter 48, when Chaol and Dorian search for Celaena in the secret passage, Chaol sees the open portal in the hallway in the, quote, world that showed through the arch, depicting a land of mist and rock. We learn in House of Flame and Shadow that mist indicates an area where the veil between worlds is thin and is often where portals can be found. Ooh, good job. Wow. What was the other breadcrumb you're like, I'm going to wait for later?
Oh, it's not a breadcrumb. It's a broomstick. It's an answer to the question that we asked.
Go ahead. So the question we asked our listeners
was the reveal of Archer's deceit earned?
All right. I want to hear yours before we read theirs.
So I personally believe there weren't enough clues leading up to it. I just re-listened to our episode 6, where we're like, none of this makes sense. How does Archer know that Nehemia is being questioned? Blah, blah, blah. Well, now I understand, because Archer is the one who hired Grave to kill Nehemia. So
no, but that still doesn't answer that he knows that Nehemia is going to be questioned.
Fair. Either way, I'm racking my brain for the clues that would suggest the level of manipulation and involvement of Archer in the background of this story. So what do we have? We know that he trained as an assassin, like in the Assassin's Keep for a little bit.
Not as an assassin, just
trained with the assassins.
Mm-hmm.
So he has some skills.
Mm-hmm.
And symbolically, he dressed as a wolf at one of the parties.
You know what? We should have known then. That's on us.
I can't think of anything else that gives it away.
The other guy flipped him off and he smiled at him in a very mean way.
That's not a clue. That's not really a clue, though, right?
I think in episode 6, I also listened to it. We made another good point. And that is there's two manipulative characters happening. There are too many kind of Machiavellian, as you called it, masterminds in the background trying to manipulate Celaena.
Yeah.
And it gets so messy of who's trying to manipulate who, because I think I still would have been okay with Archer being the one if I just fucking understood to what extent did him and Nehemia work together.
Yeah.
Where did it end? What was the point? Like, what point did it end? And if he started getting info, like if he had just said a line of, Nehemia had cut me off, because he does say Nehemia cut me off weeks ago. And then I'm just like, well, then why do you know that she was being questioned?
Right. I think he said, like, the last time he saw her was a week before her death or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. A male listener submitted a thought. I know.
What?
Okay, this is from Patrick. Oh my god. You got Patrick. He writes, he took a screenshot of his note and uploaded it to my comment, and he writes, 3% male listener here. I'm just like, Patrick, you're a celebrity to me. I will forever be referencing Patrick now. Love the podcast and am loving the Throne of Glass analysis. While I think the reveal isn't necessarily earned, I think it's absolutely required, and it perfectly sets up Celaena's ascent to Aelin across Air of Fire. If we don't have this pitfall between Chaol and her, I fear she becomes complacent with him, and I don't think she would have felt the same to become Aelin as soon as she does, and we wouldn't get the training montage that is Heir of Fire. Yeah. I mean, it's needed. It's 100% needed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's why it's here, right? It is necessary for what's to come.
Can you read, did you find the section that he does his little villain speech?
Celaena says Nehemia never could understand, like, what we've been through. The word keys should be used. And then Archer says, that was why she left the movement. She left a week before she died. We knew it was a matter of time before she went to the king to expose us all, to use what she'd learned to grant clemency to Ilwe and to annihilate us with the same stroke. She said she'd rather have one all-powerful tyrant than a dozen of them.
So it was a week before.
Mm-hmm.
So even if there's, again, how does he know that she's being questioned? How does he do other manipulative tactics?
We do learn in Heir of Fire that the rebels do have spies in the castle.
All he had to do was say something like that, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let me read what some other thoughts beyond Patrick. Patrick, you're a star. Oh, I did not mean to do that. I didn't mean it. But I didn't mean it that way.
But I love you anyway.
Sorry, Patrick. Okay, someone says, I feel the same way about the Archer reveal as I do Hunt's betrayal in House of Earth and Blood.
Yeah,
that's fair.
That is so fair.
I think I expected it. No, I think we are told to be suspicious of him from the jump. This is also funny. I thought he was a basic bitch, and then he wasn't. He was just being a bitch. On third reread, I saw the breadcrumbs, and they used the bread emoji and a
oh, cute.
That was cute.
That's cute.
Someone else says, nah, I was like, oh, that sucks, but wasn't emotionally invested in him enough.
Yeah, someone else says, I didn't feel invested in him enough to be invested in his betrayal. I wanted to be, though. Mm-hmm. Also, we said...
a couple of other ones, maybe a hot take, but no. On the first read, it came out of nowhere. I think it ultimately comes down to the deceit is confusing of who's being deceitful to who and for what reasons and why. And that adds too many layers of all this. We talked about, I think in episode 6, when we said all we needed was Nehemia to not be the one to make the choice necessarily for Celaena. I think we said something along the lines of her saying, like, just let me have one more go with Celaena. Let me do one more thing.
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
we could have had Archer actually set up Grave to kill Nehemia. And I know we need that sacrificial element. And I think we still could have like worked towards a sacrificial element, but we just needed Archer to be, in order to make Archer believable, I think I needed Nehemia to be less Machiavellian, because we keep getting the Nehemia plot twist that the Archer plot twist, one, doesn't feel as significant, two, kind of comes out of nowhere.
I agree. I feel more invested in Nehemia's deceit and her betrayal of Celaena than I do about Archer. I mean, so much so that I forgot Archer was a bad guy when I reread this book.
It doesn't make it. The other problem is I walk away from this being more hurt from Nehemia than I am from Archer.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we never established Archer was going to be Celaena's bestie. They have a flirty encounter, and then they meet each other again, and it's, you know, they're kind of like working together. But then he becomes someone that's like paranoid, trying to leave. And like, there wasn't enough history of we're best friends. There wasn't a buildup of like, no, we're really close again. He wasn't someone that the betrayals gives me any kind of like, what? Like, but you are so close to them that the betrayal from Nehemia is so jarring, so shocking that we almost don't need the Archer betrayal. Because again, it's just another thing that on the pile of betrayal shit.
Yep, I completely agree. Now on to our question from the week. Why does SJM continue to tie Celaena and Dorian together through their actions and the symbolism surrounding them if they are never quite aligned?
I forgot that was our question. Okay, on one level, I want to be like, so that she can show that women are stronger? I don't know. I don't mean it, Patrick.
Now that our male audience has a name, we can't be as
a real person.
We can't be as mean to the men.
No, Patrick, I don't. It's everyone but you. I feel like it goes down a slippery slope of who's capable and who's not capable, and I hate to keep referencing Harry Potter, unfortunately, but there was like, I was talking about this with a friend the other night of just, I was like, just lamenting on like how Harry Potter, I hate that Harry Potter was taken away from us essentially, but like that IP lives in my heart, although the author is dead to me. I do not support her financially, but there's a line that they say that she has of like, you have to figure out what is right and what is good, what is easy. Right. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a certain line to this of what is the hard path and what is the easy path. And I'm not saying that Dorian is necessarily the easy path, but it's not the sacrifice as much path. And I think the comparison and the parallels kind of makes Celaena's journey hurt more because he's not going to be asked to sacrifice the way that she is.
Yeah. And maybe that's the point, is that a woman's path in the world is always harder than the man's path. Mm-hmm. We see that in our society in a lot of ways. It's not universally true.
Yeah.
But in the patriarchy, it does certainly favor men.
Yeah.
I think also it's supposed to remind us that at all times it could have been either one of them.
But it also couldn't have. Like, it's supposed to be at all times it could have been one of them. But they shouldn't have made Dorian so inept. But it is, I think you're right. It is meant to show at any point it could have been one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree. I don't think that's something that she delivered on.
Well, I think Dorian's breaking takes place a lot later than Celaena's breaking.
Yeah.
And if Celaena had never broken, let's say hypothetically she ran off with Kale and they lived a happily ever after, eventually Dorian would have broke, hypothetically, and would have started the journey that Elena needed to have started.
Oh,
go ahead.
I think maybe the mirroring also represents human versus fae. So let's remove gender from this, right? Let's just look into, because you have Elena's champion and Gavin's champion. right? In many ways.
mhm.
Celaena was from the Feylands and Gavin was human, right?
Yep.
And both of them are in many ways like reborn, or they're here to be represented through their descendants. And they each have their own champion and they have some stake in the game afoot. I think it's also like, I think it shows it's just a representation of human versus Fae and how both are hurt in different ways and how they both have to come together and both are victims to this world. Like,
Yeah.
yes, the Fae have been absolutely annihilated and pushed out, but the humans are just as trapped.
I think that's a really good point, actually. It reminds me of Crescent City. And maybe that's the point. Maybe Crescent City was trying to capture this theme even more deliberately than Throne of Glass did, which we've talked about before. The powerful beings are here to control the Fae, who were given the humans to also control, right? And ultimately, both races are victims.
Mm-hmm.
And although they are ultimately weaker than Velg in this case, they do have the power within to overcome the Velg, but they needed champions for that to happen.
Yeah. It is. I can totally see how there's themes that she kind of hinted upon here that she wanted to explore in Crescent City. I can remember when at one point we were in the gym and I don't remember what inspired it. Probably something about today's craziness of this world, but just kind of saying that SJM in Crescent City doesn't get enough credit, that the Asteri make a point saying, aren't you happy? I gave you someone to control. I gave you your own slaves. And that is actually, I think you can look at that in today's, time of like, aren't you happy? I gave you someone to hate. You get to oppress them. So the oppressors have given you someone to oppress so that you feel like you're safe, and everyone gets to continue because there's always someone worse you get to shit on.
Yeah.
And I do think that we can potentially see some of those hints here of, who's oppressed more, the humans, the Fae are oppressing the humans are oppressing the Fae, the king's oppressing everyone. And I can see that kind of being like a moral element that she wanted to carry out into Crescent City.
No, I completely agree. And maybe this is the fledgling idea that sparks Crescent City later, right? Because ultimately she is building a universe that does tie to Crescent City. So I could see how she would take the themes maybe she wanted to explore here and take them into that other world where she could explore them more fully.
You can almost argue that Dorian and Celaena are almost combined in Bryce herself, right? Bryce represents the human and the Fae and the struggles of both. So, yeah, there's a lot more. I mean, since we know that people from this world go to the Crescent City world, we know that there's going to be a lot of links, like in little breadcrumbs, we're going to see bits here and there. However, I can totally see how themes would carry on from this world into the next world. The SJM would have that there as well.
Agreed.
Let's take a sip before we sign off.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Book Talk for Book Talk with Jack and Amy. Next week, we will be exploring chapters 49 through 56 of Crown of Midnight.
We encourage you to rate and subscribe to our show on your preferred podcast listening platform. We would also love to hear your thoughts based on today's conversation. You can submit your comments to our forum at booktalkforbooktalk.com for a chance to have your feedback discussed during a future mini episode or a Patreon exclusive episode.
If you are enjoying the podcast, please visit our website, booktalkforbooktalk.com, to view our latest merch and learn about supporting the show through Patreon or Venmo. You can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube at the handle Book Talk for Book Talk. Bye.
Bye.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
This show is sponsored by Liquid IV.
I'll give you one guess into what's my Stanley right now.
Probably something with electrolytes, like Liquid IV.
It's not even funny how true that is. Liquid IV is scientifically formulated to help replenish electrolytes and fluids lost from sweat or exercise, which is perfect because I am both sweating and exercising this summer.
It has 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients, all in a single stick. And guess what? They've got Orange Vanilla Dream Hydration right now. It is so nostalgic. Makes me think of summer instantly.
The fact that it has 100% daily value of 4 essential B vitamins, B3, B5, B6, B12, it's an excellent source of vitamin C, and it makes me just feel like I've really accomplished a lot just by drinking one of these.
Powered by Liquid IV Hydroscience, Liquid IV replaces necessary nutrients lost from everyday dehydration, and it doesn't matter if you live somewhere dry or humid, trust me, you're dehydrated.
Just 1 stick and 16 ounces of water hydrates better than water alone.
It is always non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. And if you're like me and are sensitive to everything, it is fantastic.
Savor the last bits of summer with Liquid IV. Tear, pour, live more. Go to liquidiv.com and get 20% off your first order with code BOOKTALK at checkout.
That's 20% off your first order and code BOOKTALK, BOOKTALK, at liquidiv.com. Growing up, my parents were obsessive about the chore charts and the stickers that we got to use to track our chores and what each completed chore was worth in money.
And now with Acorns Early, you can apply that to today's kids with modern technology. It's genius. Acorns Early is a smart debit card and money app that grows kids' money skills as they grow up.
Start with the in-app chores tracker and teach your kids the value of $1.
Then let your kids set up their own savings goals, start building healthy money habits early.
Make them work for that PS5.
Absolutely.
Kids can spend what they've earned with their own customizable debit card, giving them the extra sense of independence.
Plus, with Acorns Early, spending limits, and real-time spending notifications, parents always stay in control.
This is definitely something I would use if I had kids because I love nothing more than teaching hard work for reward.
This is what's going to happen when I have kids. You're going to be teaching my kids with Acorns Early.
That's exactly right.
Ready to teach your kids the smart way to earn, save, and spend? Get your first month on us when you head to acornsearly.com/booktalk or download the Acorns Early app.
That's 1 month free when you sign up at acornsearly.com/booktalk. BOOKTALK.
Acorns Early Card is issued by Community Federal Savings Bank, member FDIC, pursuant to license by MasterCard International. Free trial for new subscribers only. Subscription fee starting from $5 per month unless canceled. Terms apply at acorns.com/early terms.
This is Rose. Rose's flight is delayed again. At this point, she has walked the entire terminal twice and has memorized every news headline on the airport TV. All she really wants to do is take off. Good thing Rose has a library of free ebooks with Prime. Suddenly, she's chasing bad guys, kissing hot vampires, solving murders, living her best life. Free ebooks library. It's on Prime.